Yo, what's up, guys? It's Ben10clem here, back with another video. And today, we're gonna go over week 1 college football, and come out with the Ben10clem poll for week 1. So y'all previously saw my preseason poll, and I can show you guys that so you guys understand what it was, the preseason poll. But there's a lot of changes that have happened, and there's some things that are gonna be coming out that I hope you guys are gonna be looking forward to. Because we have a good bit to look forward to, such as a new thing that I'm going to be doing, which is pretty much it's similar to the Heisman, but I'm just calling it the Ben10clem Player of the Year award. It is going to be very similar to the Heisman, and just pretty much I will every week come out with a Heisman thing, and the logo is going to be this, if you guys want to know. So, yeah, and I will go over that when we are comparing the two polls, the AP poll versus the Ben10clem poll, and then I'll come out with the Heisman, or the Ben10clem Player of the Year award for that week and the progress. So we're gonna go ahead and go over the games that happened for week 1. So there was a lot of ginormous games, top 10 matchups that, to be honest, every higher seed lost, which is crazy. So I mean, that's out of the teams that were highly ranked, all the higher teams lost and did not do great, but especially in the top 10, other than Georgia and Oregon, those guys just played nobodies that day, and Penn State as well. They just didn't play anyone that would have warranted a loss by them. So it's like you're in a middle ground situation. So yeah, we're gonna go and get started, and with number 1, Ohio State. They ended up beating Texas, and it was at Ohio State. It was 7-14. Ohio State came out with the win. Very defensive battle. Arch Manning just did not look great at all. He looked very bad, if I'm going to be completely real with you. He definitely does not look like a Heisman contender, but maybe that's just his first game, and we'll see how it goes. I also do want to apologize for not having a webcam. For some reason, it is not wanting to work today. So I apologize. I really do. But number 2 is Penn State. I think Penn State's got a great team, great coach. I really think they're going to do really well this year, if not win the Big Ten. I do have them in the Big Ten championship anyway, so I think it's going to be them versus Oregon most likely, or them versus, I don't know, we'll see. But I think they're going to be in it no matter what. Drew Aller's looking absolutely amazing. He had great stats that game. If I go and look at that stat game, they played Nevada, by the way, and it was 46-11. They destroyed them. Drew Aller, that game, he had 22 completed passes for 26 attempts, 84.6 completion rate, 217 yards, averaged 8.3 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and he looked really, really good. He played really well. So I think they popped off. I mean, they did really well. And now moving up 4 spots and ranked number 3 is LSU. To much of my dismay, I went to the Clemson v LSU game, and Clemson ended up losing. Our offense was not looking great. Our defense, on the other hand, I think definitely looked really good. The new defensive coordinator helped out a lot. I think we played out of our minds on defense. It's just they had a really strong front line. They were playing 6-7 O line that entire game, and that running game was really well, and even the passing, because we had to expect run most of the time, and then when they passed, it was either play action or RPOs, so we were kind of left at a dead end situation. And then Cade couldn't quite get his night going. He really, really struggled that night. Our Clemson's offense in general struggled that night and ended up losing that game, 17-10. There was a couple calls. I mean, I think the ref calls were all over the place, bad for both teams. I think wrong calls for both teams, but I mean, Clemson was outplayed that night. I really do think they were. Clemson started out really strong, but after half, LSU took momentum and had control and looked very good. Garrett Nussmeier right now, in my opinion, is the number one choice for my Heisman pick, which that's your sneak peek into the Heisman stuff. Georgia moves up 2 spots. They did play Marshall, an absolute nobody, and won 45-7. Not much to go off of other than Gunnar Stockton played decent. He had the most passing and rushing in that entire game. I wait to see what they have, but the only reason they moved up was because other teams lost. So, and dropping down 4 spots is number 5 Texas. They were number 1, they're now at number 5, and that's because their loss at Ohio State. I think Arch has a lot to improve on and a lot to show if he's going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm a Heisman contender. I'm one of the best QBs right now. He did not show that game, which, I mean, there was a lot of drop passes, a lot of bad throws. It was a defensive heavy game, but it was a matter of who had the better offense that game, and Ohio State had that better offense. And now, jumping up 6 spots is Miami after beating originally ranked for me number 3 Notre Dame at Miami, keep in mind. That game was wild. Notre Dame really never caught up, never really had a chance. They only scored 7 in the first half while Miami had 14. They didn't score any points in the third while Miami scored another touchdown, and then they scored 17 in the end to Miami 6, which that's why it looked close, 24-27. But realistically, like, Miami had control the entire game against a very, very dominant performance by Carson Beck and Miami Hurricanes. So it's wild to see, but I did not think that would happen, but it definitely did. So very interesting game. Number 7 is Oregon. Oregon played Montana State, a nobody. It was 59-13. Dante Moore looked really, really, really good. Another little sneak peek. He's in my Player of the Year award running. That game, he had 18 completed passes for 23 attempts, 78.3 completion percentage, 213 yards, average 9.3 yards, and 3 touchdown passes. He did very, very, very good that game. I think he's got really good potential to do well. Dante Moore looks like a really good player going out, and we'll see how he plays throughout the rest of the year. But going up to number 8 is South Carolina. They played a really good game. Virginia Tech always played good. This was also, keep in mind, a neutral site game played in Atlanta. In the Dome. And it was Virginia Tech versus South Carolina, and South Carolina ended up winning 24-11. I know that's a weird scoring game, but Lenore Sellers, he did not run as much as I was thinking he was going to. He definitely did not rush for the stats I thought he was going to rush for, because he's known more for his agility and his rushing, and I think they're trying to boost his passing game. Because, I mean, he didn't have an awful game. He was 12 for 19. So, and then 63.2% completion rate at 209 yards, averaged 11 yards passing, one touchdown. I mean, he didn't do bad at all. He did not rush, though. He did fumble the ball, I think. So that was bad on his half. Um, there's a lot there that I think was. I think they're just trying to get him better at throwing the ball in games, which is why uh, he did not look, in my opinion, as good as he did, say, against like Clemson last year, etc. Like that. But South Carolina came out with the win. They did. Their defense looked actually surprisingly pretty good. I did not think they would, but they came out looking pretty good. And we're going to go and get started with number 9, Tennessee, moving up 4 spots. Tennessee's game I thought was really good. I was not super, super high on Tennessee. I will be completely honest. I mean, I was higher than obviously the AP poll originally, or the preseason AP poll, but they went and played Syracuse. I don't know, was this at a neutral site? This was also at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so but Tennessee ended up winning 45-26. They played really, really, really well. I was impressed with how they played. Syracuse is an awful team, but we know they're not the best either. But Tennessee, I I thought they would have a really, really bad year, or really down year, but I don't know. I think Tennessee stock is back in action. I think they can do good this year. So they might prove us all wrong here. Up next we have Notre Dame, which dropped 7 spots after losing to Miami, which previously was ranked 12. They moved up to 6 for me after that very good dominant win. Literally had control of the game, the whole entire game. So it was not really close until the end, but yeah, there's not much to be said about that other than that. Number 11, SMU. They're staying exactly where I had them. They didn't really. It's hard to say, but if I look for SMU here, let me find them. Their game real quick. They played East Texas A&M, which is a nobody. It was 42-13. Kevin Jennings had a pretty good game on his hands. 22 for 30, 73.3% completion rate, 260 yards, average 8.7 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. So, I mean, 6 carries for 12 yards as well, rushing. Not the best, but I mean, he had an okay game other than that interception thrown, so it was a little interesting to see. But yeah, SMU, I don't think moves up for that. I just can't really move them up. I think 11 is a good spot of where they're at. And now talking about my Clemson Tigers, and obviously explained a lot going over like talking about LSU, but the offense looked the same as it did last year. Not able to get a season opener win. I mean, our defense came and showed up to the game, hyped. We looked good. I went to that game. It was an electric game, but coming out with a loss absolutely sucked. My voice is still kind of shot from that, which is wild, but yeah, it is. um, Clemson dropped 7 spots, tied for second most dropped team. They went from 5 to 12, dropping 7 spots. Not much else to be said. We have to see what Cade Klubnik could even actually perform, and if he's going to get any better. If not, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I think he still has a chance. Because look at last year, his stats were really good. We played terribly in our first game, but then came came around, had really good stats in the end, and yeah. Now, number 13, Michigan. Michigan. Moved up one spot. They ended up playing New Mexico. They ended up winning 34-17. I mean, that was a pretty good win against New Mexico. I think they deserve moving up one slot. No more, no less. Georgia Tech moving up one slot as well because of all the drops and stuff. Georgia Tech had a rough start, but stats-wise, if you look at the stats, they had control pretty much. Like, stat-wise, they were just better. Yes, they had a couple turnovers, but the running game and how well Haynes King played, he, in my opinion, could go for Heisman if he wanted to. He is an insane QB. He runs it pretty much most of the time, but he can kind of pass now too. So it's a little scary to see what he can perform, and he did very, very, very well there. So I thought it was a cool game to watch, and they ended up playing Colorado at Colorado, and it was 27-20, with Haynes King getting 156 rushing yards on the ground, which is insane. And if we look at his passing completions, 13 for 20, 65 completion rate, 1 INT, 143 yards, but didn't throw a touchdown pass, but he ran for 3 touchdowns. Averaged 8.2 yards, 19 carries, 156 yards on the run, which is insane. Lily. Shh. So I think Haynes King's got really good potential, and I think he can do really well for Georgia Tech even more. And now going to Florida Gators, moving up one spot. Florida played Long Island University 55-0. Not much of a tough game for them. They only moved up because of who they played. Lily. Right. Sorry, guys. I apologize. And then they just played a nobody, but they move up because of other teams losing, etc. I jumped Illinois over Ole Miss, in my opinion. Illinois had a very, very good game. Let me see if I can find them here. Illinois played Western Illinois 52-3. They had an offensive just masterclass. I get it was against an FCS school, but I was really surprised with how well they were doing offensively, so I moved them up 2 slots. They were at 18, they're at 16, and yeah. Ole Miss 17. I did not move them at all. I know that might surprise some of y'all, but because they did really, really good offensively too, 63-7 against Georgia State. But it was I'd like to see more out of it, and I see how it goes. But for now, they're 17 for me. Texas A&M now. Number 18, moving up one slot. They played UTSA 42-24. I do not like how many points they let UTSA have, but they move up one slot nonetheless because of a team that lost. Number 19, moving up one slot as well, is Louisville. Louisville is not ranked in the AP Bowl, but they played Eastern Kentucky and won 51-17. Not much to be said about them. I do think they're a top 25 team, and that's why they're here. And dropping the most spots this game, or this week, is Alabama after losing to Florida State. At Florida State, they lost 31-17. They were outplayed pretty much this entire game. They really could not come back. Their defense could not even stop Florida State. It was ugly. I don't think they're as good as we thought we were, Or maybe Florida State's just better than we thought they were going to be because they were 2-10 last year. Maybe people are already saying they could be an ACC contender. I'd like to wait and see on that, and I'd like to wait and see on Alabama, but Alabama draws the most slots because they lost to a previous team that was 2-10 last year's record. So that's why they are number 20. They have their biggest drop. They were at, I think, 7 or 8 on the last bowl. Let me check. Let me double check for y'all. Yeah, they were at 8. So, yeah. Now going to 21, jumping 3 spots. So, jumping over BYU and Arizona State is Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma had a really good game. 35-3. Wasn't crazy offensive, but defense did well against Illinois State. Keep in mind it was an FCS school. But I think Oklahoma is going to be pretty damn solid this year, and I like to see how I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Venables does for that team because he is on the hot seat, and they need to do good this year. If they don't, he's out of there. Okay, now number 22, dropping 1 spot. Arizona State. Arizona State, 38-19 against Northern Arizona. Sam Leavitt looked good. The issue with this game was I don't like how much they allowed it to score, and it didn't go out like it's just I thought it would be more personally, but I mean, I'm dropping them because I did not like how allowing an FCS school to score 19 on you and you being ranked so high, even in just the AP poll, they're ranked 11. I'm dropping them 1 in our slot. And BYU, I am also dropping by 1 because I think Oklahoma would be able to beat both of those teams. Let's see, BYU's game. Let me try and find it here. BYU played Portland State 69-0, destroyed them. Realistically, I probably could have put BYU above Arizona State for that performance, but I'm just going to leave it how it is. And we got 2 schools that are in the top 25, newly ranked. Utah at 24. Utah played very, very well against UCLA. Absolutely dog-walked Nico and shit on him, which was Tennessee's previous QB, which I thought would be good, but clearly not. Utah had a field day at UCLA. 43-10. Absolute onslaught there. That's why they deserve to be in the top 25, and they're ranked 24. And at 25, I have Auburn Tigers. Auburn played Baylor. I thought Baylor was going to win that game. I had Baylor on the fringe of the top 25. Didn't put them in, but almost did. I think they were like the 27, 28 range for me. But they went to Baylor, won 38-24. They looked really good. Jackson Arnold played really well and ran really well, played well in general. So that's why they're there. And I dropped Illinois and Boise State out. First, Illinois was ranked, I think 23 in my previous poll. They were ranked 23. But I'm dropping them out of the top 25. I wasn't really too impressed with Illinois necessarily. Or not Illinois, I mean Indiana. I apologize. Jeez, my brain. Indiana, 27-14 against Old Dominion. Like, you gotta do better than that. It's Old Dominion. It wasn't pretty, and I don't think it was great at all, and let's talk about Boise. Good Lord, Boise State sucked. Definitely did not deserve even being close to the 25 spot. They sucked. They got absolutely destroyed against USF. South Florida their QB literally was trucking their defensive players like it was nothing. bulldozed them, passed out of their mind, ran out their mind. Nothing could have happened. Boise State's offense, absolutely god awful. It's just like how we thought they'd be the group of 5 team to get in there. I don't know. But I think UCF has a good chance of being that group of 5 that takes that 12 seed spot in the new college football playoff era that we obviously are in. So, yeah. But that's pretty much all I got to really talk about. I mean, other games, Missouri is another team that I'm considering putting in there. I was there. They were considered possibly being in previously as well. So if we go ahead and move you there and you here. So we'll take a look at each one of these real quick. I'll shrink the size of them. So obviously week 1 versus. So here we go. So we'll move that there, and then we'll increase the size of this and move it over. But like if you look here, the teams that I've also considered possibly making it was Kansas State, but they lost. Baylor, they lost. Nebraska and USC also considered putting them in as well. But yeah, I mean, this is so far what I have as my rankings. I do think it's pretty fair, pretty even rankings. Nebraska did barely win against Cincinnati, so I don't really have much hope for them of getting into the top 25 quite yet. So they're obviously out of that picture for me. So is Baylor and Kansas State. But Utah and Missouri and USC, I think, have a very strong chance of actually getting into the top 25 if a couple of these teams loses. Tulane's also a team I'd be looking out for, possibly being on the fringe of getting in the top 25. But other than that, that's going to be that. But keep in mind, we are going to be comparing this poll to the AP poll coming up. And I do want to say we are adding a new thing this year for college football. And it's going to be pretty much my version of the Heisman odds and like my aka offensive player or player of the year award, and this is our logo that we have now, the Ben10clem player of the year award, which I'll go over who those players are. I did talk about it in this poll here today, but there is a lot of changes that could be made, but you guys hopefully are excited for all this. Let me know what you guys would change down below and if you guys agree with the poll or not. But I'll see you guys probably in a couple days to go over the AP poll and then the Ben10clem Player of the Year award. So anyways, thank you, and I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.